Prince Philip funeral, when there will be a minute's silence to celebrate life of Duke of Edinburgh. Timings and details of those taking part have been released. The Duke of Edinburgh's funeral will take place on Saturday, April 17, at 3 p.m. in St. George's Chapel, Windsor, Buckingham Palace has confirmed. The funeral service will begin with a national minute's silence at 3 p.m. before a ceremonial procession inside the grounds of Windsor Castle takes place. The plans for the funeral are in line with the Duke of Edinburgh's own personal wishes, and the occasion will recognise and celebrate Prince Philip's life and his more than 70 years of service to the Queen, the UK, and the Commonwealth. It will be a ceremonial royal funeral, the same as for Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and Diana, Princess of Wales, rather than a state funeral, something which is generally reserved for monarchs. The Duke of Edinburgh's coffin, covered with His Royal Highness's personal standard and dressed with a wreath of flowers, will rest initially in the private chapel at Windsor Castle, where it will remain until the day of the funeral. On Saturday, the Duke of Edinburgh's coffin will be moved by a bearer party found by the Queen's Company, 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards. Positioned in the quadrangle at Windsor Castle will be representative detachments drawn from His Royal Highness's military special relationships. Members of the royal family and the Duke of Edinburgh's household will walk behind the coffin from the quadrangle, down Chapel Hill and into Horseshoe Cloister. The funeral service will begin with a national minute's silence at 3 p.m. Due to coronavirus restrictions, the service will be attended by a limited number of guests, including Her Majesty the Queen and members of the royal family. The coffin, carried by a bearer party found by the Royal Marines, will be received at the top of the west steps of St. George's Chapel by the Dean of Windsor and the Archbishop of Canterbury. The Duke of Edinburgh's naval cap and sword will be placed on the coffin ahead of the service, and His Royal Highness's insignia will be laid on the altar of the chapel. At the conclusion of the service, His Royal Highness will be interred in the Royal Vault in St. George's Chapel.